Commander Lisa Brooks tapped her fingers on the armrest of her command chair. The bridge of the ESS Vanguard buzzed with activity as her crew worked at their stations. They had been patrolling the outer edge of the Kepler sector for 3 weeks now, watching for any sign of the Raxian pirates. "Status report," Lisa called out, her blue eyes scanning the main view screen. "All systems normal, Commander," replied Lieutenant Chris Mason from his position at the navigation console. "No unusual activity in the area." Lisa nodded but remained alert. The Raxians had been attacking civilian ships for months, stealing cargo and leaving destruction in their wake. Their attacks seemed random, but Lisa suspected there was a pattern they hadn't discovered yet. A sudden beeping filled the bridge. Communications Officer Emma Taylor straightened in her chair. "Commander, we're receiving a distress call." "Put it through," Lisa ordered, standing up. The speaker crackled with static before a panicked voice came through. "This is the Centauri transport vessel, Hope's Journey. We are under attack by Raxian pirates. Please help us." Lisa's jaw tightened. Location: Grid 7 Alpha near Kepler 186F. Chris responded quickly. "They're about 20 minutes away at maximum speed." "Set course, maximum acceleration," Lisa commanded. "Emma, alert the fleet. All available ships to converge on those coordinates." As the Vanguard surged forward, Lisa's mind raced. The Hope's Journey wasn't just any transport. Intelligence reports had mentioned it was carrying refugees from the recent Proxima Wars, civilians who had already lost everything. "Commander, we're receiving more information about the transport," Emma said, her voice shaking slightly. "They're carrying over 5,000 refugees. Most of them are children, orphans from the war." Lisa felt a cold anger settle in her chest. The Raxians knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't just after cargo anymore. They were targeting the most vulnerable people in space because they knew human ships would rush to help. "How many Raxian vessels?" she asked. "Sensors detect at least 4 attack ships," reported Tactical Officer Dan Cooper. "They've already disabled the transport's engines." Lisa opened a channel to the entire ship. "All hands, battle stations. We're facing Raxian pirates attacking a refugee transport with children aboard. I expect nothing less than your best. Brooks out." She turned to her weapons officer. "Warm up all systems, but remember our rules of engagement. We don't fire unless fired upon or civilians are in immediate danger." "Understood, Commander," Dan replied, his hands moving swiftly over his console. As they approached the coordinates, Lisa could see the scene on her view screen. The massive Centauri transport drifted helplessly, while 4 sleek Raxian ships circled it like sharks. The pirates had already breached the outer hull. "Incoming transmission from the lead Raxian vessel," Emma announced. The view screen changed to show a reptilian face with sharp teeth and yellow eyes. The Raxian captain leered at the camera. "Ah, humans. Always so predictable. You care too much for the weak." "This is Commander Lisa Brooks of Earth Space Fleet. Power down your weapons and surrender immediately," Lisa stated firmly. The Raxian laughed, a harsh sound. "We have 5,000 hostages, Commander. You won't risk their lives. Leave now, or we start executing them one by one." Lisa felt fury rise in her chest, but kept her voice steady. "You're making a serious mistake. Release the transport and surrender. This is your only warning." "Your compassion makes you weak," the Raxian sneered. "Watch as we teach these refugees the price of relying on human protection." The transmission cut off. Seconds later, Lisa watched in horror as one of the Raxian ships fired on the transport's already damaged hull. "They're targeting the life support systems," Dan shouted. Lisa made a decision. She touched a button on her chair arm, opening an encrypted channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, this is Brooks. The Raxians are murdering civilian refugees, including children. They think our humanity makes us weak. It's time to show them how wrong they are." She paused, feeling the weight of what she was about to order. "Set course for Kepler 186F. We're ending this now." Around her, the bridge crew set their jaws and prepared for battle. The Raxians had crossed a line, and they were about to learn that human mercy had its limits. Captain Zorak stood on the bridge of his ship, the Reaper's Claw, watching the helpless transport vessel drift in space. His yellow eyes gleamed with satisfaction as his second-in-command, Krell, reported the damage. "Their engines are dead, Captain. Life support is failing. They won't last more than 2 hours." "Perfect," Zorak hissed, his forked tongue flicking out. "And the humans?" One ship approaching fast. The Vanguard, commanded by Lisa Brooks. Zorak's lips curled into a cruel smile. He had heard of Brooks, one of Earth's youngest commanders. The humans were so predictable, always rushing to save the weak. "Signal the other ships," Zorak ordered. "Form attack pattern Delta. Let's show these soft humans what real power looks like." His crew cheered, their reptilian voices echoing through the bridge. They had been preying on civilian ships for months, and no one had been able to stop them. The humans' reputation for mercy was well known across the galaxy. They wouldn't risk harming civilians to get to the pirates. On the view screen, Earth's ship dropped out of hyperspace. Zorak laughed at the sight. Just one ship against his 4. The humans were either brave or stupid, probably both. "Captain," Krell interrupted, his voice uncertain. "More human ships are dropping out of hyperspace." Zorak turned to see 6 more Earth vessels appear on the screen. His laughter died. 7 ships against his 4. This wasn't part of his plan. "No matter," he growled. "They still won't fire on us with the transport so close. Prepare weapons. Target their engines." But something felt wrong. The human ships weren't moving in standard formation. They spread out, surrounding his fleet with military precision. "Captain," Krell's voice held a note of fear. "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the human ships. Nothing in our database matches these readings." Zorak's scales rippled, a sign of unease. "What kind of energy signatures?" "Unknown, sir, but they're increasing in power." A transmission came through from the lead human ship. Zorak's view screen filled with the face of an older human male with gray hair and stern eyes. "This is Admiral Jacob Turner of Earth Space Command," the human said, his voice cold as space itself. "You are ordered to stand down immediately." Zorak sneered. "Or what, Admiral? You'll risk killing 5,000 innocent refugees to stop us." "I think not." The Admiral's expression didn't change. "I'm giving you one chance. Surrender now or face consequences. You humans are all talk." Zorak spat. "You want?" "Captain," Krell shouted. "They're targeting us. All 7 ships are locking weapons." "Impossible." Zorak stared at his displays. "They'd hit the transport." "The targeting is, sir, I've never seen anything like this. It's like they can see through our ships, identify every system separately." Zorak felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Doubt. Fire on the transport again. Force them to back down. The moment his gunner fired, everything changed. A voice came through the speakers, calm and deadly. "Mercy protocol disengage. All weapons free." Alarms screamed across the bridge. Zorak watched in disbelief as dozens of small objects launched from each human ship, moving faster than anything he'd ever seen. "What are those?" he demanded. "Unknown projectiles, sir. They're changing course mid-flight." The first wave hit, but instead of explosions, Zorak saw his weapon systems shut down one by one. No damage to the hull, no casualties, just surgical strikes that left his ships helpless. "Our engines are failing," Krell reported, panic in his voice, life support fluctuating. "Sir, they're not trying to destroy us. They're disabling us." Zorak realized his terrible mistake. The humans hadn't been held back by mercy. They'd been holding back something far more frightening: precision. They had technology that could separate civilian from combatant, innocent from guilty. As his ship lost power, plunging the bridge into emergency lighting, Zorak understood. The humans weren't weak because they protected the vulnerable. They were terrifying because they had found a way to protect the innocent while destroying their enemies. The hunter had become the hunted, and the humans were far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. Admiral Jacob Turner stood before the holographic display in the center of his bridge. 7 blue dots represented his fleet, forming a perfect circle around 4 red dots, the Raxian pirate ships. 1 larger yellow dot showed the refugee transport, drifting helplessly between them. "System check complete, Admiral," reported his weapons officer, Lieutenant Maria Santos. "All ships report the Angel system is online and synchronized." Turner nodded, his gray eyes fixed on the display. The Angel system was humanity's answer to a simple question: how do you fight evil without becoming it? For months, Earth's best scientists had worked in secret, developing technology that could distinguish between military and civilian targets with incredible accuracy. "Sir," said his tactical advisor, Commander Paul Shaw, "the Raxians have fired on the transport again. Hull integrity down to 60%. Turner's hands clenched behind his back. He had seen enough suffering in his 40 years of service. No more. "Activate the Angel system on all ships," he ordered. The bridge dimmed as power flowed to the new technology. A soft blue glow appeared around each weapon's console. Turner felt the ship hum with energy. "Angel system active," Maria reported. "Scanning all targets. Civilian life signs identified and locked out of targeting solution." "Accuracy confirmation?" Turner asked. 99.9%, sir. We can hit their weapons, engines, and life support without touching a single civilian." Turner opened a channel to the Raxian captain. The reptilian face appeared on screen, sneering. "Back for more empty threats, Admiral?" "I'm giving you one chance," Turner said, his voice steady. "Surrender now or face consequences." Zorak laughed. "You humans are all alike. Too soft to do what's necessary." The Raxian ship fired at the transport again. Turner saw fear flash across the faces of his bridge crew. "Sir, they're targeting the section with the most children," Paul reported. Something cold settled in Turner's heart. He had given them a chance. Now they would learn what happened when humanity's patience ran out. "Mercy protocol disengage," he announced, his voice carrying across the bridge. "All weapons free." His crew straightened, understanding the weight of those words. The Mercy Protocol had kept them from using lethal force against living beings. With it disengaged, the gloves were off. "Fire nano-swarm missiles," Turner ordered. "Target all hostile weapon systems first, then engines and life support. Leave them helpless but alive." "Aye, sir," Maria responded, her fingers moving across her console. Hundreds of tiny missiles launched from each human ship. Unlike normal weapons, these could think. They carried miniature AI systems that could identify and target specific components. On the main screen, Turner watched as the swarm approached the Raxian ships. The pirates tried to shoot them down, but the missiles dodged and weaved, learning from each attempt. "Impact in 5 seconds," Maria announced. The swarm hit like a precise storm. Each missile found its target with surgical accuracy. Weapon arrays exploded in small, controlled bursts. Engine cores shut down. Life support systems flickered and went to emergency power. "Status report," Turner demanded. "All Raxian ships disabled." "Sir," Paul reported. 0 civilian casualties. The transport is secure." Turner allowed himself a small smile. The Angel system had worked perfectly. They had stopped the threat without harming the innocent. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Raxian flagship," Maria said. Zorak appeared on screen again, but his arrogance was gone. Emergency lights flickered behind him, and Turner could hear his crew shouting in panic. "What have you done?" the pirate captain demanded. "Shown you that mercy and strength are not opposites," Turner replied. "We protect the innocent, but we will not tolerate those who harm them." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Secure the transport. Get medical teams to those refugees, and prepare boarding parties. It's time these pirates learned about human justice. As his orders were carried out, Turner reflected on what they had accomplished. They had created a new way of warfare, one that protected the innocent while punishing the guilty. It was, he thought, the most human solution possible. Lieutenant Alex Dawson watched the tactical display with intense focus. As the fleet's youngest tactical coordinator, he had trained for years to reach this position. Now, sitting at his station aboard the ESS Vanguard, he was about to coordinate humanity's most precise military strike ever. All ships, report missile status. Alex said into his headset. One by one, the 7 Earth vessels confirmed their nanoswarm missiles were active and ready. Each tiny missile contained technology that seemed impossible just a year ago. Lieutenant Dawson, Commander Lisa Brooks called from her command chair. You have tactical control. Show us what these new weapons can do. Alex nodded, his fingers flying across his console. The nanoswarm missiles weren't just weapons. They were thinking machines that could analyze targets in real time. Initiating attack sequence, Alex announced. Swarm Alpha, target weapons arrays. Swarm Beta, disable engines. Swarm Gamma, shut down life support to minimum safe levels. On his screen, thousands of colored dots representing missiles began their dance. The Raxian ships had no chance. They're trying to deploy countermeasures, reported Ensign Julie Park from her nearby station. Alex smiled grimly. Let them try. The swarm learns from every defensive action. He watched as the Raxian ships launched decoy flares and electronic jamming. The first few missiles were confused for a fraction of a second, but then the swarm adapted. They communicated with each other, sharing information about what worked and what didn't. Impact in 10 seconds. Alex counted down. 9, 8. Captain Zorak's ship fired desperately at the incoming swarm. Alex noted how the missiles dodged the shots, changing formation like a school of fish avoiding a predator. 3, 2, 1. Impact. The tactical display lit up with small explosions, but these weren't the massive blasts of traditional warfare. Each detonation was precisely calculated to disable, not destroy. Swarm Alpha has neutralized all weapon systems, Julie reported. 0 hull breaches. They've lost offensive capability, but maintain atmospheric integrity. Swarm Beta engaging engines now, Alex added. He watched as the second wave struck. The Raxian ship's engines went dark one by one. Without propulsion, they drifted helplessly. Sir, the Reaper's Claw is trying to restart their backup engines, Julie warned. Alex was ready. Redirect 15% of Swarm Gamma. Target their auxiliary power systems. The missiles adjusted course instantly. Within seconds, the backup engines died before they could fully activate. All Raxian ships are now without propulsion, Alex reported. Beginning final phase. Swarm Gamma targeting life support. This was the most delicate part of the operation. Alex had to leave the pirates with just enough life support to survive, but not enough to mount any resistance. Adjusting parameters, he muttered, making minute changes to the missile's programming. Setting life support to 30% capacity. They'll be uncomfortable but alive. The final wave struck with perfect precision. Emergency lights flickered on the Raxian ships as their main power failed. Alex monitored the readings carefully. Life signs stable on all vessels, Julie confirmed. Oxygen levels sufficient for survival but too low for complex activity. Commander Brooks stood and walked to Alex's station. Status report, Lieutenant. Alex straightened in his chair. All objectives achieved, Commander. 4 Raxian ships completely disabled. 0 fatalities on either side. The refugee transport remains unharmed. Outstanding work, Brooks said, placing a hand on his shoulder. You've just proven that we can fight with precision instead of destruction. Alex felt pride swell in his chest. They had faced a terrible enemy and won without taking a single life. The NATO swarm missiles had performed beyond expectations. "Sir, what happens to them now?" Julie asked, gesturing toward the drifting Raxian ships. Alex looked to Commander Brooks, wondering the same thing. They had won the battle, but justice still needed to be served. "Now," Brooks said with a cold smile, "we show them what human justice looks like, and it starts with letting them experience the same helplessness they inflicted on others." Alex turned back to his console, ready to assist with whatever came next. The precision of their vengeance had only just begun. Captain Katie Rogers stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution, studying the 4 helpless Raxian ships on her view screen. The pirates who had terrorized innocent refugees now floated powerless in space, their weapons silent, their engines dead. "Captain, all fleet commanders are connected for the conference," her communications officer announced. Katie nodded. "Put them through." 7 faces appeared on her screen. The commanders of Earth's fleet. Admiral Turner sat at the center, his expression grim. "The question now," Turner began, "is what to do with these pirates." "We could take them back to Earth for trial," suggested Commander Brooks. Katie shook her head. "They attacked a transport full of children. They showed no mercy to the helpless. Why should we show them any?" "What are you suggesting, Captain Rogers?" Turner asked. Katie took a deep breath. "I propose we give them exactly what they gave their victims. Helplessness in the void of space. Strip their ships of all supplies and leave them here." A moment of silence followed her words. The other commanders exchanged glances. "That's harsh," one said quietly. "Is it?" Katie replied. "Think of those refugee children, terrified as these pirates attacked their ship. Think of all the civilians they've killed before today. They need to understand the fear they've inflicted on others." Admiral Turner leaned forward. "Explain your proposal in detail, Captain." "We remove all food, water, and medical supplies from their ships," Katie said. "We leave them with emergency life support only, just as they left their victims. They'll have enough air to survive, but nothing else. Let them experience the terror of drifting helpless in space." "For how long?" Brooks asked. 24 hours, Katie answered. "Long enough to understand what they've done to others, but not long enough to cause permanent harm. Then we return and take them into custody." The commanders discussed the proposal. Some worried it was too severe. Others thought it was justice. "I have a question," said Commander Chen. "What if other ships find them?" "We'll monitor the area," Katie responded. "If anyone approaches, we intervene. This is about justice, not revenge." After more debate, Admiral Turner called for a vote. One by one, the commanders gave their decision. The result was unanimous. Katie's proposal would be implemented. "Very well," Turner said. "Captain Rogers, you'll oversee the operation. Remember, we're teaching a lesson, not seeking vengeance." Katie nodded and closed the conference. She turned to her crew. "Prepare boarding teams. Full protective gear. We're going to clean out those ships." The next few hours were busy. Human soldiers in spacesuits moved through the Raxian vessels, removing every supply they could find. Food, water, medical kits, everything went into storage containers on the human ships. Katie watched the operation from her bridge. When her boarding team reached Zorak's ship, she opened a channel to the Raxian captain. "You can't do this," Zorak shouted when he appeared on screen. "This is barbaric." "Barbaric." Katie's voice was ice. "Like attacking ships full of orphan children. Like leaving civilians to die in damaged vessels. We're pirates. It's what we do. And this is what we do to pirates who prey on the innocent," Katie replied. "For the next 24 hours, you'll experience exactly what your victims felt. Maybe you'll learn something." She cut the transmission and watched as her teams finished their work. One by one, they returned to the human ships. "All supplies removed, Captain," her executive officer reported. "The Raxians have emergency life support only." Katie looked at the drifting ships one last time. The pirates who had brought terror to so many would now face their own trial in the emptiness of space. "Set course to a monitoring position," she ordered. "We'll watch from a distance. In 24 hours, we return to collect them for proper trial." As the retribution moved away, Katie hoped this lesson would spread throughout the galaxy. Those who harmed the innocent would face justice, human justice. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Every major news network carried the story of how Earth's fleet had stopped the Raxian pirates without killing a single person. The footage of 4 disabled pirate ships drifting helplessly in space played on screens from Mars to the outer colonies. Ambassador Thora Valen of the Valian Empire watched the reports with growing interest. Her species had suffered under pirate attacks for decades, losing countless cargo ships and civilian transports. Now she saw something different in these humans, strength tempered with precision. "Prepare my shuttle," she ordered her aide. "I must speak with the United Earth Council immediately." 3 days later, Thora stood before the council in Geneva. The massive chamber was filled with representatives from every Earth nation, their eyes fixed on the tall, blue-skinned alien at the podium. "Honored members of the council," Thora began, her voice carrying across the room. "For years, my people watched as pirates terrorized our trade routes. We fought back with force, but each battle left more dead on both sides. Your recent action has shown us a new way." She paused, letting her words sink in. "The Valian Empire formally requests an alliance with Earth. We wish to learn from your methods and join you in protecting the innocent across the galaxy." The council chamber erupted in whispers. No alien civilization had ever requested a formal alliance with Earth before. President Sarah Collins, head of the council, stood up. "Ambassador Valen, we are honored by your request. But you must understand, our methods come from our deepest values. We protect the vulnerable not for gain, but because it's right. That is precisely why we seek alliance." Thora replied, "Your actions have shown that mercy and strength are not opposites. We wish to embrace this philosophy." Over the next few weeks, more alien delegations arrived on Earth. The Zentari Confederation, the Proxima Alliance, even the mysterious Void Walkers, all sought to join what was being called the Galactic Protection Coalition. Meanwhile, the effects of the Kepler incident rippled across known space. Pirate attacks dropped by 60% within a month. Criminal organizations that once preyed on civilian ships now avoided any vessel that might draw Earth's attention. On a small mining colony in the Rigel system, a group of raiders preparing to attack suddenly received a transmission. It showed the Raxian ships drifting powerless in space, followed by a simple message: "Earth is watching." The raiders abandoned their plans and scattered. Back on Earth, Admiral Turner met with the newly formed coalition leadership. Representatives from 12 different species sat around a circular table, discussing shared defense strategies. "The Angel system will be made available to all coalition members," Turner announced. "But it comes with conditions. You must agree to our rules of engagement, protect civilians at all costs, use minimum necessary force, and always offer surrender first." The alien representatives nodded in agreement. For the first time in galactic history, different species were uniting not for conquest or trade, but for protection. In the refugee camps on Mars, children who had escaped the Proxima Wars played a new game. They pretended to be Earth fleet pilots, flying imaginary ships to rescue people in danger. Their laughter echoed through the corridors, a sound of hope replacing fear. Commander Lisa Brooks visited one of these camps and watched the children play. A small Centauri girl approached her, eyes wide with admiration. "When I grow up, I want to be like you," the girl said. "I want to protect people too." Lisa knelt down to the girl's level. "You can be even better than me. The galaxy is changing, and we'll need brave protectors like you." As more species joined the coalition, humanity's role in the galaxy transformed. They were no longer just another spacefaring civilization. They had become guardians, showing the universe that true strength lay in protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. The ripple effect of one decisive action continued to spread, changing the galaxy forever. 6 months had passed since the Kepler incident. Commander Lisa Brooks stood at attention in the Grand Assembly Hall on Earth, her crisp uniform reflecting the bright lights. Around her, delegates from 23 different species filled the massive chamber. Commander Lisa Brooks, Admiral Turner's voice echoed through the hall. For your leadership and courage during the Kepler incident, and for your role in establishing the Galactic Protection Coalition, you are hereby promoted to Admiral. Lisa felt the weight of the new rank pins as Turner placed them on her collar. The crowd erupted in applause, a sound unlike anything she'd heard before, with clicks, whistles, and other alien expressions of approval mixing with human clapping. Your first assignment, Turner continued, is to lead the new coalition fleet. The Angel system is now standard on all Allied vessels. You will train our partners in its use and establish patrol routes across the galaxy. Lisa nodded, accepting the responsibility. As she turned to face the assembly, she saw representatives from species that had been enemies just a year ago now standing together. The Valians, with their blue skin and graceful movements. The rock-like Gorath, who communicated through vibrations. Even the enigmatic Voidwalkers, rarely seen outside their dark nebula homes. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. Lisa worked with engineers from multiple species to adapt the Angel system to different ship designs. She established training academies on 12 different worlds, teaching the philosophy behind humanity's approach to protection. Remember, she told her first class of coalition officers, our strength comes from knowing when not to use force. The Angel system gives us options beyond destruction. One of her students, a young Zentari named Crix, raised a tentacle. But Admiral, what if we encounter a threat that won't surrender? What if they keep attacking civilians? Lisa's expression hardened. Then we remove their ability to harm others, permanently if necessary. Our mercy is for the innocent, not for those who prey on them. The coalition fleet grew rapidly. Each member species contributed ships and technology, creating a force unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Lisa's flagship, the newly commissioned CSS Unity, became a symbol of this cooperation. During her first major patrol, Lisa received a distress call from a Proxima mining colony. Unknown raiders were attacking civilian workers. All ships, form up, Lisa ordered. Angel systems online. Remember your training. The coalition fleet dropped out of hyperspace to find 3 raider ships firing on the colony's defense platforms. Lisa noticed something immediately. These weren't ordinary pirates. Their ships bore military-grade weapons. Admiral, they're using Kryvax Empire technology, her tactical officer reported. This might be a test of our resolve. Lisa opened a channel to the raiders. This is Admiral Brooks of the Coalition Fleet. Cease fire immediately, or face the consequences. The lead raider ship responded by launching missiles at the colony. So be it, Lisa said coldly. All ships, engage. Disable their weapons first, then engines. Show them what the Coalition stands for. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. Coalition ships from 6 different species worked in perfect harmony, their Angel systems identifying and neutralizing threats with surgical precision. When it was over, 3 raider ships drifted helplessly, their crews unharmed but defeated. Broadcast this to all frequencies, Lisa ordered. Let everyone see what happens to those who attack the innocent. The message was clear. The Coalition wasn't just Earth anymore. It was a united force of civilizations committed to protecting the vulnerable. That evening, Lisa stood on the observation deck of the Unity, watching the stars. Her comm badge chirped with a message from Earth. Another species wanted to join the Coalition. Admiral, her aide approached. The Kryvax Empire is requesting negotiations. They claimed the raiders were rogue elements. Lisa smiled. Whether the claim was true or not, the message had been received. The galaxy had new guardians, and they would not tolerate those who preyed on the weak. Set up the meeting, she replied. But make sure they understand. We protect the innocent. That's non-negotiable. 20 years had passed since the Kepler incident. On the peaceful colony world of Kepler 186f, a tall monument stood in the central plaza. Its smooth black surface bore a simple inscription. Here, humanity drew the line. Captain Sam Williams ran his hand along the cool stone, remembering the day that changed his life. He had been just a boy on the refugee transport Hope's journey when the Raxian pirates attacked. Now, at 30 years old, he commanded one of the newest ships in the Coalition fleet. "Captain, the CSS Guardian is ready for departure," his first officer called from nearby. Sam nodded and took one last look at the memorial. Around its base, flowers from dozens of different worlds created a rainbow of colors. Each species in the Coalition had their own way of honoring this place. As he walked to his ship, Sam passed groups of cadets from the Coalition Academy. Young beings from every corner of the galaxy trained together here, learning the principles that had transformed interstellar relations. The CSS Guardian represented the latest evolution of Coalition technology. Its sleek hull incorporated designs from 15 different species, while its weapons systems featured the newest version of the Angel system, now capable of disabling entire fleets without harming a single life. "All systems ready, Captain," reported his chief engineer, a Valian named Toril. "The Angel System 5.0 is online and calibrated." Sam settled into his command chair. His crew was a mix of species: human, Valian, Centauri, and others. They worked together seamlessly, united by a common purpose. "Take us out," Sam ordered. "We have patrol duty in the Outer Rim." As the Guardian left orbit, Sam reflected on how much had changed. The Coalition now protected most of known space. Pirates and raiders had become rare, knowing that any attack on civilians would bring swift response from the Guardian fleet. But new challenges had emerged. Some civilizations resented the Coalition's power, calling them Galactic Police. Others tested their resolve with subtle provocations. "Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Admiral Brooks," his communications officer announced. Lisa Brooks appeared on the screen, her hair now streaked with gray, but her eyes as sharp as ever. "Sam, we've detected unusual activity in the Terminus sector. Multiple ships converging on a civilian science station. Could be nothing, but..." "We'll check it out, Admiral," Sam replied. He had learned to trust these instincts. Hours later, the Guardian dropped out of hyperspace near the science station. Sam's worst fears were confirmed. 12 warships surrounded the facility, their weapons powered up. "They're demanding the station's research data," his tactical officer reported. "Some kind of advanced energy technology." Sam opened a channel to the lead warship. "This is Captain Williams of the Coalition ship Guardian. Stand down immediately." A harsh laugh came through the speakers. "One ship against 12. The Coalition has grown arrogant." Sam smiled coldly. "You're right. One ship is all we need." He turned to his crew. "Engage Angel System 5.0. Full defensive protocols for the station. Total disable on all hostile vessels." The Guardian's weapons came alive with blue energy. In seconds, precisely targeted beams struck each enemy ship. Weapons arrays went dark, engines shut down, shields collapsed. The 12 warships that had seemed so threatening now drifted helplessly. "Dispatch rescue teams to secure the hostiles," Sam ordered. "And send a message to all ships in the sector. The Coalition protects those who seek knowledge, just as we protect the vulnerable." Later, as the Guardian escorted the science station to safety, Sam thought about the legacy he carried. That scared boy on the refugee transport had grown up to continue the work started at Kepler. The motto of his ship class said it all. "For the vulnerable, we show no mercy to evil." The galaxy had learned that human wrath, when awakened by injustice, was precise, controlled, and absolutely unstoppable. And now, that legacy belonged to all who stood for protection over predation. The line had been drawn, and it would never be crossed again.